So greetings, this is Eduardo Jumbo. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can use the Camera2 API for Android. But the programming language you're going to use will be Kotlin. Most of the tutorials you see online are for Java, and that works pretty well, but I wanted to try out Kotlin because it's supposed to be a more modern take on programming, and you don't have to use the old, I don't want to say outdated, but the old methods where you had to worry about like memory leaks, and you had to write so much code just for something you want something simple. In this case, it's the API is the Camera2 API, which is actually recommended. The other one is Camera X. So that's what we're going to do today. So before we begin, I want to let you know that I do a live stream every day. What you should do is just go to the jumbo.com website, and you go under the watch menu and live sub menu. Then you can see, for example, this one, the Kotlin Camera2 API Android development on YouTube. That's what I'm doing now. That's a channel YouTube, and then the approximate date and time. And the one for tomorrow, you can see the name here and what channel and the approximate date and time. Also, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Okay, so basically the Camera2 API Android was introduced for Android API level 21, and that was corresponding to Android 5.0, which is Lollipop. The Camera2 API introduced new features to control, capture, and manipulate the captured images. Also the Android 2 API reference provides detailed information. So I have a link here. You can I'll click it here, and we'll take a look at it here as well. So it opens up on the developer. You see it's android.hardware.camera2, and you see there's a lot of things you can do here. So for example, here there's a capture section, capture callback, camera device. So you have lots of things here. You can these are the classes, but for example, you can control things like aperture. There's a lot of things you can control. For my particular characteristics here, so properties describing a camera device. So let's just quickly take a look at that one. So as you can see here, you have lots of other things here, like lens facing, location, available modes, FPS, priority, AE, compensation. You can see auto framing. There's a lot of effects. So there's a lot of stuff for the Android 2 API. We don't care too much about this because I said for my particular use case, all I care about is, if you remember, the chicken webcam. So all I care about is just simply getting a decent photo and basically uploading it to a server. The server is going to be locally hosted as well. So we'll tackle that part in a future tutorial. So what we're basically going to do for this tutorial is we're going to use the Camera2 API, and we're going to place the camera, basically preview it using the texture view. I already mentioned it's part of the ongoing chicken webcam app series. So why did I decide to do more native instead of using the HTML5? That's because what I found was that I actually installed Droid webcam, and I was so surprised at the quality, even though I set it to just be, I think, 1080p. I was so surprised how the quality was, and this happened when I actually lost 6 chickens. So I left the camera running even when the entire day was very cloudy, and then even at night I was really surprised that it still took very good pictures. I was just blown away, and I was like, wow, because I remember even when I started using the back camera for the HTML5 app, quality wasn't very nice because you're very limited in what you can control. They do have some constraints, but it's not the same like with a native. So another thing is because it's running basically a web browser, has to be on all the time. So the good thing about using native, in this case, I'm going to put it in the texture view. I don't actually need that. I don't need a preview. So meaning that what I could do is I could just take photos and just upload them to my server. So I don't need to take a preview. I could basically preview them on the server. Or I can have a button just to preview and take off the preview. You can't do that when you do the HTML5 app. So this way the battery use will be less. So for example, when I run both of them, I'll give you an example. So when I ran the HTML5 app, I had to connect the old phone. I had to leave it connected because it drains the battery. Even with the dimmed one, on the iPhone it's much better, but on the Android it just drained the battery very quickly. Like just plug it in. There was one time it was 80%. I plugged it in. I started the app. Then I realized, I need to plug in it. So I went to get the charger, and then I came back. It was ready. Just in a few, not even like maybe 30 seconds, and it was already down to 32%. Right. So for example, when I ran the Droid Cam, although I was running it using OBS Studio, and I forgot to actually plug in the charger, it was able to run for several hours. I think 7 hours. And I think it actually started like 82%, not 100%, 82%. When I went to pick it up at night, it was just down at 40%. So I was really impressed. Okay. So for this particular tutorial, basically, you can connect your Android device. So for in this particular case, I have the Sony Xperia XA1 Ultra. That's a phone that came out in 2017, a mid-range phone. And then my daily driver, the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE 5G. It was supposed to come out 2021, but due to the delays because of the lockdown and stuff, it actually came out in 2022. So this is my daily driver. So you can connect the device to your, for example, I'm going to be using Android Studio today. You can connect it using wireless IP and Wi-Fi, of course, and WLAN and TCP IP. If you don't know what that means, I have a glossary here. That's a transmission control protocol. Or you can connect it to USB. I can't connect it to USB because I need to connect the microphone, the headset. And then ADB, this is the command line tool, the Android debug bridge. I've done a full tutorial on this, so you can go look it up. And API, obviously, if you don't know what that means, it stands for Application Programming Interface, a set of rules, protocols that enable software applications to communicate with each other, to exchange data, features, and functions. In this case, it's the Camera2 API. And what's a UI? That's a user interface. And what is the texture view? That's an Android component used for rendering video and graphics onto the Android UI hierarchy. Okay, and this is the source code we're going to use today. And this is the part to preview the camera. So as you can see here, I'm using Android Studio. Of course, you can do this in a command line. You just need to put them in the same folder and just run the command if you don't need to use Android Studio. I use Android Studio because it helps me keep up with the latest features, and because if I just use command line, I could probably just be using Java to this very day. So just know what's going on, what's popular, and just try it out myself. So basically what we're going to do today is I didn't have enough time to connect my device with the wirelessly. So I'll see if the Android Studio is able to do that for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate an Android layout file. That's basically this is the path to put it into, and you'll see that when I do that. And then you need to set Android manifest permissions, obviously for the camera. You need access to the camera. And then we're going to generate the Android code snippet to test the camera API. Basically, we're just going to take the camera. So this is the, as you can see here, where my mouse is, this is the emulator. So this is how it works. Emulator obviously doesn't have a camera. In the old days, when it was using Eclipse, you were able to actually use the webcam as a camera. Maybe you can still do that with this one, this version. I'll probably have to test that in the future. Maybe I'll do that in a separate tutorial. Okay, and then here you can see once it gets the camera permissions up here, and here you can see it's previewing, and then obviously if you have a real device, this is what it would look like here. Okay, and this is the live, if you're on YouTube right now, you can actually ask me questions and I'll be able to answer them for you. And then of course, Kotlin is licensed under the Apache license version 2. And Android itself is licensed under Apache License 2 for the user space software and the GNU public license for the Linux kernel. So the permissive licenses, that's the Apache license, those are permissive. Basically, all they require is a provision of copyright notice and disclaimer. While the copyleft license, that's the GNU public license, that's for the Linux kernel. That comes with strict rules and requirements to ensure the software remains free and open source. Regardless of the license, they all allow commercial use, modification, display, and making data proprietary. Consult the license for more specific details. Okay, so let's head over to Android Studio, and I'm going to create a new project, and then we can get started. So let me see, what did I call this one? Kotlin Camera. I'll call it just Kotlin Camera2. Okay, here. So when you open up Android Studio, the first thing it'll ask you is to create a new project. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to use we'll use an empty activity. Oh, one more thing. Most of the tutorials out there, even in 2025, they will tell you that if you use an empty activity, you'll be able to select the language. That's not true, and I'll prove it here. So if, for example, next here, you see, it doesn't give me a language selector here. But if I go back, pick an empty, no activity at all, you see, I can pick the language. Java or Kotlin. But in this case, I just create an empty one because by default, Google wants you to use Kotlin. So see here. So give it a name here. I'll say Camera2 Kotlin. Okay, and that's fine for the name. That location is fine. The minimum, I'll just leave the defaults. This is because that phone I was telling you about, it actually came with Android 7. It was updated after about a year to Android 8. So I know I could test it on that one. So the minimum SDK. So just make sure you pick whatever you want. As I said, because I'm targeting all devices, so this is fine. And the build configuration language, that one you can just leave as default, which I will. What other option do they have? Oh, you can have Groovy. So I'll just leave the default and I click finish. Come on. Okay, here we go. This is what it looks like. It creates a main activity Kotlin file for us. It's kind of weird because it still says Java here, even though it's Kotlin, but that's because you can still use Java in here. Okay, so with this, it imports a few things for us. So we can just leave everything there. That's not a problem. So what we're going to do first is instead of writing the code first, so we should go to the permissions here. Let me actually just take this out of the way so it stops doing that annoying thing. I'm checking, see if there's any. Okay, there's nobody chatting yet, so just give me a second. All right, so we actually don't need any of this stuff here. So actually, I'll do the. Let me see if I should do here. I'm not too sure what we should do. Okay, so what I'll do is, okay, so first thing, I think the easiest thing to do, yeah, okay, we're good, it's finished finally. So let's go to the res here and XML. So it doesn't have one here, so let's make one. I'm not sure if I should make one if I really need one. Okay, I'll just create one. So go new, and we need a layout. So we need a layout file, so XML layout file. And I'll just call it activity, if I spell properly, activity main. Okay, well, that's running. I don't know why it's so slow. Wow. Okay, so just give me a second here to get started. Oh, this is Camera2 Kotlin. Okay, that's the project. All right, so source main. Okay, put you here. Okay, so we've created the main file here. So that's in the res XML folder. I think that's why you put it. Oh, it puts it in the layout. Sorry, layout. Okay, so I didn't check it, but if we actually go to the code, I prefer to see the code here. So you see it's using the linear layout. That's probably fine. We can delete this as well and just change it to, all we need is a textured layout. That's all we need really. So let's do that. So here's the other one here. So this is what is it here with layouts? You see it's used linear layout. So what we want to do is we want to use a relative layout. Do they even have relative layouts here? Yeah, so this is why I don't like using the GUI. So I'm just going to delete it, and I'm just going to get rid of that and just add my own layout here. I'll just copy paste to save time. Okay, we don't need a button here. I'm not too yeah, we actually don't need a button, so I'll just get rid of that. That's all we need. We just need the texture layout here. And you can see here it's texture, so it takes up 100% of the parent. That's perfectly fine. So we save this. All right, let me zoom in. Sorry about that. How do I zoom in? There we go. So it's the relative layout. We set the width to match parent, whatever this match parent, and then we just put a textured view in there. We give it an ID. This is the target. We're going to target it by its ID, and it's wrap content. Wrap content meaning it takes up the remaining space, which is exactly what we want. Next, we're going to go to the manifests, Android manifest here. I'll zoom in here, control key. So what we need is, we just need a permission, and there are a couple of permissions we need. So I'll just start typing. It should be straightforward. So we'll just type uses. So uses feature. Okay, then it's Android name, and the one we want is Android, and you can see right here, I think it's showed, yeah, here we go, camera. And then you put you type Android required, and then the answer is obviously true. And then we're done here, so I'll just close it off. Next, we need permission. So a little space here, just keep them separately. So users permission. This one is going to be Android permission dot camera. There we go, camera. So that is all we need. Yeah, that's all we need. So close that off. So I separate them just easy. So this are the two things we added. We added the users feature, and so this tells people know that it's going to use your camera. And then obviously, in order to use the camera, you need the permissions. So that's a permission that it will request. Unfortunately, this is not enough anymore. We need to also check for the permission again in the code. So I don't even know why. I don't know why this does here. This makes sense. I don't know why this makes sense, because we have to request it anyway. I think it's because Android maybe allows people to install something even though it's going to require if that specific feature. Okay, so let's go back to our Kotlin, the code here. Okay, so this is the fix. First thing I'm going to do is first thing is in the manifest file here, I've added that it uses the feature Android camera. and I've set that to true required, and the permission I've added the user's permission Android permission camera. Then in the layout activity main, this one here, what I did was I used a relative layout and I just added a texture view, and I gave it an ID of texture view, and I set it the width to wrap content for both the width and the height. So it's a relative view, that's all it is. Match parent for the layout width and layout height. Okay, now I think I can, yes, this is all. I just want to see this. So I'm going to remove I'm going to remove the default stuff that comes with oops, that's not it. I think, yeah, this one here, it's not needed and all of that. So I'll just delete all of that. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to delete all this. So this is the fix for the first video. I'm just going to delete everything first. So none of this is being used. None of that's being used. None of that's being used. So you can see the only imports are the Android OS bundle and the Android X activity component activity. That's it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some variables here. So it'll be private val camera. Oh, I forgot to zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm typing. Here we go. Camera permission code, and it's an int, and I'll set it to 101. Then I'll make another private var camera device, this one here, and camera device, set it to null. Okay, I'll fix that in a second. So late int var tview, that's our texture view. Texture view. Okay, so import this camera device, and our texture view is fine. So then here all I'm doing is I'm setting the content view to our layout activity main. That's the one we created here, see activity underscore main. So that's what I did here. Then what I'm going to do is tview equals, I don't know why it came there, wrong place. Okay, so I'm going to find view by ID. I don't know why it does that. I don't need that. So what I do need is r.id.texture view. That's the ID. If you remember, we created an ID here of texture view, so it found it there. Okay, next tview.surface texture listener equals object, and then texture view dot surface surface texture listener. Okay, then we're gonna give it an override. Find on surface available. So this one here. So then what I'm going to do here, where it says I'm going to create a open camera. So that's it. And there's some more overrides here which it didn't create, so I'll just copy and paste those in there. So it just say the width and height, and this one boolean true, and this one is just nothing. So this camera, so what I'll do is I will create function camera. I don't want to create it here, I'll create it separately. I'll here, right in here. Paste it there. So here, when the camera is open, this is where we're going to add the functionality. So I'll just copy and paste this. The code snippet for this is in the article. So basically, I need a context. Import that one. You need to import the camera manager. So we get the camera ID. We're using default one, so hopefully it's the one in the back. And then we get the characteristics. Then we confirm the permissions. I don't know why you have to do this. It's really annoying. You can't. Yours have to do this. So then we also package manager as well, and this one as well. Yeah, if you don't confirm it, there's no way you can continue. Even if you have a special function, you just ignore it and just yours have to do this anyway. So then finally, we can open our camera. So let me just import all this. So what we have here is we're going to create two functions. One is going to be for the modern cameras, and one's going to be for the legacy cameras. Okay, so everything here, basically when disconnected, we close, and you set the camera device to null. And also on error, we'll do the same thing. And this is just an exception, so I should be able to import that one. Yes, import the exception. So now all we need to do to finish up here is we're going to create that function, and we're going to create this function as well, the legacy one. So I don't want to put them here. I will put them here. Okay, so for this one here, this camera preview here, I'll just copy and paste the code there. Okay. Import the surface. Okay. And import this one as well, the output configuration, executors. Import that class. Import that one as well, capture session. Import that one. I think that's it. Yeah, that's all of it. And you see this red one here. It just requires to add this requires API build versions basically from that and above from this version. So the legacy one, this one here we have here. So for the legacy one, just copy and paste. It's kind of similar, slightly different. You see we get the surface texture and we set it to 1920 by 1080. And what we do is capture request builder, that's from a camera device. Then what we do is we get from the surface, we have a callback, override, and session repeat. And on the config field, we just make it null. So that's it there. So yeah, so this is it. Now we should be able to run this on our devices and everything else. So if we go to this one should not be an error. I don't know why it's red. So context view. Okay, that's fine. So we should be able to run this on our emulator. See if there are any errors here. Going on here. I don't know if they found an error or not. It says 57. Okay, so to resolve this problem, this is the camera one, right? It's manifest permission camera. So I'll show you how to fix that. To fix that one, you need to add one of the things here. Is this the OS build? You'll have it here. Bundle. Yeah, bundle is also here. Camera. So did we get the manifest? I think the manifest is not here. Yeah, the manifest, I believe the manifest is not here. Let me, yeah. So to fix that one, we need to put the manifest. So I'll just put it, where's the Android? Right here. So I'll put it right, is it OS, MMM? So I guess I'll put it before the build. Android M, yeah. So M should be here. So the manifest, just need to import it. See, this is why I said I dislike this, because it doesn't, yeah. So now it's working. And yeah, so the build was fine. You see the app opened up here. It's waiting for the debug. It's done. It's going to ask request a permission. So you see it's asking while using this app only this time and do not allow. So I'll say only this time. And you see this is where it will be doing the preview. This is on the emulator. As I said, if I try to, I'm going to try to pair with Wi-Fi because I've enabled wireless Wi-Fi on my phone. See if that works. Pair using, oh, there we go. Let me see if that actually does work. I'll pull up the scan code, QR code. Okay. I already have the Wi-Fi. I don't know why it says wireless debugging pair with, I don't have a pair with QR code. On my phone, when I go to settings, I go down to debug options. It does have wireless debugging. Oh, wireless debugging is off. Well, that's weird. Please connect to your Wi-Fi. Why? What? Why did the Wi-Fi disconnect? That is weird. The Wi-Fi disconnected. Okay, so okay, is it enable? Where's enable Wi-Fi? I'm not seeing enable Wi-Fi display certification. No, that's not it. Oh, Wi-Fi debug. Okay, wireless debugging. So I've enabled. It says allow. Oh, now debugging. I clicked allow. Available by wireless debugging, but there's nothing on my phone. It just says wireless debugging. Debug mode when Wi-Fi is connected, but it doesn't have a. There's no options for pair using QR code. I don't see. Let me go through other options here. Maybe it's somewhere else. Going through all the options, I do not see login level, location. Yeah, my phone doesn't have that option. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm not able to pair. Yeah, there's only one device. So that's it. So that I guess I'll end it here. And this is a weird one because now I have to go back to the article. And here we go. So essentially, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And again, I do a live stream every day. Just go to the watch menu, live sub menu, and you can pick the, this is the current one we just finished up here. And then you can see the next ones, the channel and the approximate date and time. If you did enjoy this, consider supporting me. What you can do is you can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojamboshop.com or on WordPress plugins at ojambo.com, and all my programming courses at ojamboshop.com. Buying my programming books on Amazon, search for Edward Ojambo, links in the description. Hiring me for your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. Become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. One more time, if you enjoyed this, consider supporting me. Purchase one of my WordPress plugins at autojumbo.com, enroll in my programming courses at autojumboshop.com, buying my programming books on Amazon, search for Autojumbo, links in the description, hiring me for your programming and app development needs at autojumboservices.com, becoming a donor at autojumbo.com/donate. Thank you.